Okay guys, we're gonna replace this power steering pump on this 2009 Honda Accord. It's a 4-cylinder, 2.4 liter right here. You can see it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this bolt, this cover comes off, so we have more clearance here. We're gonna be taking off this bolt and this bolt. As long as the car is off, you can't even do it with the car on. There's no pressure in there. Don't worry about it. Use a rag to catch any extra fluid. I got the pump on the way, so I'm using this special tool. You could use a 14mm wrench. What you need to do is you need to get onto that tensioner right there. Okay, so I might not be able to capture this on the camera. You're gonna pull forward. As you can see, your belt becomes loose. Once your belt becomes loose, all you want to do is just slip the belt off, just like that, and let go of your tensioner. And we're gonna be replacing the belt on this as well. So you might not see me do a video on that, but if you want to replace the belt, I do have video just on the belt. So don't lose the routing. Do a diagram so you have it on the camera or written down or drawn down somewhere. This belt is pretty much squealing in the morning, and this belt not good. Get out of here. Anyways, let's take off this and let's take off this, and there's these bolts, and the pump only has 14mm there and a 14mm right there. Encouraging video. Check out my other video that I did why you should do this now. Don't wait for 5 months, 6 months because you got a leak, because you're going to destroy your alternator. Anyways, let's start taking things apart and take it easy. So to start off, 10mm here, 10mm here. Don't lose these two bolts. And this cover just lifts right up. Okay, might have a couple of grommets at the end, at the tip. Okay, got one grommet right there, so you're gonna have to pull a little bit harder than that. Leave the bolts with it. What I want to do is I'm gonna loosen up this bolt. I'm gonna loosen up this bolt. There's no pressure in there, guys. I did do seals on this, but after it got really cold, the pump gave up. So this is a shorter bolt. Let's put it right here. These two bolts are the same length, so you don't want to confuse these for the other bolts. So I think all three of them are same, but I just like to keep them separate. So let's take off this little guy. And if I could do this with one hand in my camera, you can do it. So you see how they kept the two bolts together, one separate, to keep it like that. I need to get me a dirty rag. Dirty rag it is. Get yourself a dirty rag. Don't worry about this, okay? And what we're gonna do is just play around with this, wiggle it, woggle it, and this will come off. You will lose a lot of fluid here. It's okay. It's okay to lose fluid because we're not gonna lose fluid after this. So what I want to do is I want to get one more rag, one more dirty rag in my lot of filth here. That's good enough. Anyways, I'm gonna put this here so we can capture the fluid out of here. So wiggle woggle. There's no pressure here. There is an O-ring. You see that orange O-ring? That is a critical O-ring, okay? If it comes with this is new because I just changed this not too long ago, but we're going to save this one. I'm going to just put it to the side here. But these O-rings are very critical, okay? These pumps, they will tend to suck air from here, leak air from right here, because those O-rings become a bit brittle, and they will go, your power steering will sound crazy. So what I want to do is, if you play around with it, you will shoot out the fluid. So let's just shoot out some of the fluid from here. Let's just turn this, and that way we're not spilling all over. We're gonna turn back a bit so fluid is even. You know what, that's it. That's how it's gonna stay. And what we're gonna do is good enough. We're gonna push this baby over here and make sure you're just not dripping all over it. And this for this fresh fluid, okay, it'd be a good time for you to completely do a flush if you want to do so. That's all up to you. I just don't want any of the fluid going down. And what we're gonna do is, it's not my job to clean up the alternator or anything like that, because this should have been done a long time ago. So we're gonna go get a 14mm, and we're gonna go get a 14mm, and we're gonna remove both of them. So what I want to do is, I got myself a 14mm here. I'm gonna pull up because it's kind of clockwise if you're looking directly at it. So once this baby is loose, do one at a time. I always say, do the harder one first, the furthest one that you can't get your hands on. So this is a 14mm right here. This baby is gonna come right off. And the reason why I say that is because it's gonna make your job easier. Do the harder one first, because the easy one is gonna hold the pump in place for you. So once this baby's completely out, Make sure you keep the bolt in order because sometimes the bolts are longer and shorter. There it is. I'll throw this right there, wipe off my hand, and now this is where you're gonna need 2 hands, not one, and you can't be holding a camera. Okay. If you tell me the mistake I made, let me know. I loosened up. I should have had loosened up that bolt, even though I said I shouldn't be taking off the hard one first. But you see how the pump moved with it? That's something you don't want. But it's okay. I'm gonna get another rag. I just want to put it here for the safety of this alternator, for crying out loud. And what I'm gonna do is, now I'm gonna remove this bolt completely, but the pump is gonna try to just fall with it because there's a load on that bolt now. So if you have 2 hands, you hold the pump with one and you take off the bolt with the other one. And if you don't, that's too bad. Like me, I'm gonna just try to switch hands because I can just push against it, move this bolt just like that with one hand. So I'm keeping my hand to push the pump forward. And okay, here it comes. Here this baby comes. Don't forget to check out my encouraging video. I just talk a lot of crap on videos like that. So this is gonna try to fall out on you. If you're using one hand, the floor is gonna probably try to go all over. It's okay, he's going all the way. And the Giants and the Jets win. I don't know. I just don't want to be choosing teams because a lot of people, a lot of my viewers, they get offended. Okay, you're a Giants fan, or we no longer gonna watch your videos. That's fine. I'll put this bolt over here. I'm just joking around, guys. As much as jokes I can pop. Okay, and this pump should just easily come out. Put it somewhere where you're not gonna destroy your ground floor. It does have a core, so this does go back, but we're gonna wait for the new pump, and this baby can just sit here meanwhile. And you can just tilt it over, and you can have fun with my filters here. Anyways, let's wait for the new pump. Okay, so we got ourselves a new power steering pump. It does have these little fittings in here, so we can remove those later on. That's fine. And a lot of people say you don't want to run the pump dry, but how can you make it wet? You can't possibly do that. So what I want to do is just keep the pump right there. I'm going to take a moment to go grab one of the bolts, which is this long bolt, which starts off from right here, this side. So we're gonna push this pump up. I'm working with the one hand. Like I said, guys, if I could do it with the one hand, you can do it without the camera. Okay, you might just gonna have to put your phone to the side watching my video meanwhile you're doing this. So this pump goes on. I'm gonna give you a part number on this pump just in a minute. Let me just get this bolt in there so I don't drop it. So here's the pump. It does come with new seals. We're gonna reuse the seals we have because those seals was just brand new. So here's a Cardone is the brand, and there's a part number right there. It's a reman, and second bolt from the bottom here. So just lift it up, get that bolt in there, and once that bolt is in there, it's not gonna turn by hand, so you're gonna have to turn this little guy with your wrench. So we're gonna get this all the way nice and tight. Okay, you need torque specs, I will give you torque specs. You want the money? I will show you the money. This is a long bolt. What the hell? Alright, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get both of these bolts in, and I'm gonna lock them up. Okay, we got the pump in, and I'm gonna lock these bolts up. Mechanic can't. Don't be asking me for no torques, but I am gonna give you torques at the end of the video. But if you're a mechanic, you should know what's tight and what's loose. You should know which bolt. My light is flickering. Let me fix this right now. Let me turn it off and on. You should know which bolt not to go by your hand. Okay, like pretty much crank bolts, cam bolts, critical bolts, spark plugs, things like that. Okay, of those natures. Okay, you should know that. A lot of people you will criticize me, but that's Not on me, guys, so take it easy. It's nothing serious. I did change the tensioner on this, so that was another video, I ended up changing the tensioner because I noticed it was a noise on that tensioner. So this bolt is nice and tight. Usually these are like 30 foot-pounds, around that much, but I'm sure, like I said, if you're a mechanic, you should know what's tight and you should know what's loose. Okay, so once you complete this job, this is nice and tight, put on your belt. That'll be another video on that belt. I do have videos on that. So there's no fluid in here, but this pump is gonna immediately suck in fluid. It's gonna suck in fluid immediately, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. But remember, the O-rings, okay? The O-rings, such as these. Okay, I'm gonna clean this up a bit. O-rings are very critical on these jobs, okay? So take your new O-ring, put it on, and like I said, let me get this line to go under and over. They are critical, okay? If you want to put it on the belt, right now be a good idea to give you a lot of room, because this does kind of bother a bit. But these O-ring play a large role of leaking fluid, air into it. You're gonna have bubbles into the reservoir. It's gonna sound like So make sure these O-rings are properly in there. Change them. That'd be the step one. We did change these, but they failed. The whole pump from the center seal failed. That's not on us. So this baby's in. This O-ring is new as well, so we're gonna leave that alone. And if you do put on new O-rings, put a little bit of fluid around it so it can submerge. It can go in there nice and smooth. And we're gonna put this bolt in. So these are gonna be hand tight. Remember, we took these off with our power tools. So now they're gonna go on with the hand, okay? So let me go get a tool to do that. So here it is, 10 millimeter. So we're gonna tighten this up. Just enough. It's like 6 foot-pounds. I'll give you the torque specs. Like I said, if you're a mechanic, you should know how tight this baby's gotta be, just by the feel of it. And you should know which bolt to torque, which not to. This is real talk, okay? This is nothing a joke or anything like that. So everything is nice and good. Bada bing, bada boom. This is done. Time for me to put on a belt. Give you guys a part number on that. The belt is something that you just yank and put it on. Reroute the belt. Thank you for watching my video, though. Replacing on this power steering pump. Okay, I know you guys wanted the bolts, torque specs here. So the 2 bolts on the power steering, the main bolts, 14 millimeters, a 33 foot-pound. And the little ones, all 3 bolts are 8 foot-pound. 1, 2, and this one is as well 8 foot-pounds. And that's it. That's all you need to know there. Okay, so I got the belt on. Belt is kind of ridiculous to get on this baby, but we got it on. It's good everywhere. Good on the crank. We got it on the pulleys, pump, everything. And we're gonna take out this tensioner tool here. So this job is all well done. We just need to put on that cover right there. So this is the cover. 2 bolts to it, and this cover, there's a grommet right in the center. That baby goes on the grommet. You tap on it, it locks in. Did it lock in? Did it not lock in? There it is, right in the center. So once that lock in, yeah, we can put the 2 bolts in, 1 and 2. Just hand tighten these, and bada bing, bada boom. So what you want to do now is, I do have a video on putting power steering fluid. So this is what we're using, Bacardi. I got one over here. Bacardi is the brand. Bacardi. And the part number 2520020. Okay, so this is the bottle. You do want to use this stuff on this Honda. So I'm gonna tap this baby open. Okay, so remember, our pump is dry. It's not gonna damage itself because they did put some type of, I spilled it all over. There is fluid in there even though we don't see it. So if you see bubbles in here, all you need to do is turn the steering to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. Give it some time, right, left, and eventually it will, the bubbles will disappear, but you're gonna have to let the car run good for good 20 minutes. If you shut it off by any chance, everything is gonna come out. So do not shut it off, just let it run, give it a good 20 minutes, be outside so it can vent the air so you don't pollute inside your car, inside your house, or inside your garage. And let it run for good 20 minutes. We're gonna start this baby up. You're gonna hear noises. I was taking off my glove, my tools. Let me get it out of the way. All these tools so nothing falls inside. I'm gonna take this top and put it here. Okay, I still need to lock up the two bolts on the top. Let me put my tools away. And what are we gonna do is make sure everything is tight. Everything is tight. Double check your belt. And I could see it from the back. Crank is good. Compressor is good. Water pump is good. Tensioner is good. It's good. The belt is looking good. We're gonna crank this baby up. You're gonna hear sound. That's fine. Like I said, if you shut it off by any chance, it's gonna shoot everything out. Okay, no leaks. So right now, I cannot shut this off, because if I shut it off, it's gonna shoot everything out. So what you wanna do now is turn the pipe steering to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, and then just let it sit 20 minutes. We're gonna let it sit for 20 minutes, and that's it. We'll come back and check. Okay, so it's been good. 10 minutes, 12 minutes. I don't see any bubbles. So hopefully it's safe enough. That's where I go by. Bubbles, no bubbles, I shut her off. If there's any bubbles, there's issues. If there's a lot of bubbles, they're compressed in. What it's gonna do is it's gonna start to come up, okay? But if you see no bubbles in there, it's nice and clean, it's good to go. So this thing is not rising, okay? You will see it rise. If there's bubbles in there, it's gonna rise and it's gonna cause issues and it's gonna cause problems. But other than that, we're all good to go, guys. Thank you for watching my video. While you're doing the pressure, right and left turn, that's creating a pressure. This is the low pressure because this is a suction from the reservoir, the fat line here. So you shouldn't see any leaks here, especially in here. There shouldn't be any low leaks whatsoever, okay? Sometimes these rubber hoses get brittle, hard, and they will not have a good seal. So make sure if you got a bad pipe, it's nice and hard. Like this is ready to go. Probably one more year, it's got to go. Other than that, we're good. Thank you for watching my video, guys. Make sure you put everything back together. Check out the torque specs at the end of the video. Stay tuned for more videos, and bye-bye.